Welcome to the streets of Long Beach, California, as ESPN presents the first round of the Bosch Volkswagen Super Vee Championship, the breeding ground of future racing stars. Hello and welcome to the 12th annual Grand Prix of Long Beach. Today we'll be taking a close-up look at the Super Vee racing. I'm Bruce Flanders and along with me is George Fulmer. And George, the Super Vee has kind of been where the stars get born, right?
Yes, it is. We have several stars that came from the Super Vee ranks running the Indy cars this week. Ed Pym and Michael Andretti have moved up from Super Vee and are doing very well in Indy cars. It's a place for the young drivers to start, and here at Long Beach it's particularly important because it's such a difficult racetrack and there's a lot of people come to this race to see who runs well, and so the kids like to do real well. So it's a very, very competitive race.
The streets of Long Beach are now a racetrack, and the qualifying sessions at Long Beach are always a very exciting affair.
Yes, and the fields are very large, and it's a temporary circuit that doesn't allow any testing prior to the weekend. Plus the fact that everyone knows that you must qualify well at Long Beach in order to have a good chance to win in the race.
As usual, it didn't take long for the quick ones to begin asserting themselves as they began to master the complexities of this seaside circuit. Names like Cheever, Bren, Andretti, and Groff made repeated appearances at the top of the qualifying board as the times began to tumble during this session. Smooth. That's what's happening on the racetrack right now in front of you. They didn't look like it, though, George, as they were on the brakes hard.
Well, this is a very difficult track, and one of the things one has to remember is it changes surfaces quite often.
And there's always the example of those who try a little too hard and forget that smoothness is really the key to being fast here. But fortunately, Dave Whitney kept his car off of the hard concrete barriers and was able to resume in this qualifying session. And then there are those who must have felt that they were in a little over their heads. Here, Jim Ward provides a live test of the effectiveness of the roll bar in his number 24 machine. Fortunately for him, it worked as designed.
He must have made contact with someone's wheels in order to file that flight plan.
Well, it was definitely a removal of material off of the top of the roll bar, too, as it seemed like he slid forever. The corner worker already there on the scene, and the driver trying to get out. Well, that isn't exactly the way they teach you to exit your vehicle in racing school, but it looks as though he'll be able to continue if they can get the car back on its wheels. We're going to be back to the start of the race here in Long Beach in a moment.
Join ESPN in the Fast Lane Saturday. We'll come out of the gate with live coverage of the $250,000 Ohio Derby featuring some of the country's top thoroughbreds. Then, Supercross excitement. It's motorized madness when ESPN shifts into high gear at the LA Coliseum. And right on its tail, the CART American 200 from Milwaukee. Indy 500 champ Bobby Rahal looks to lead a fast field to the checkered flag. ESPN puts you in the driver's seat Saturday.
Welcome back to Long Beach, California, and a great aerial view of the large Super Vee field as it begins the final pace lap prior to getting down to work. I'm Bruce Flanders, and with me here in the booth is George Fulmer. George, a former Can-Am and Trans Am champion with a very busy 86 schedule set up. Now, George, they've got a lot of money up today, don't they?
Well, one of the reasons this field is so large, Volkswagen America has raised the prize money for each race by 50% over 1985. It's now a total of $30,000 per race. In addition to Long Beach, this year's Bosch Volkswagen Series will feature 12 races in such locations as Meadowlands, Miami, Indianapolis, St. Petersburg, and Road America.
Well, we told you that it is a very large field of competitors, and let's take a look at some of them right about now.
My name is Steve Brand. I'm from Los Angeles, California. My number is 43.
Ross Cheever, well, born in Rome, Italy, and living in Phoenix, car number 1.
Hi, I'm Jeff Andretti. I'm from Nazareth, PA, and I'll be driving car number 84.
Mike Roth, Northridge, California, car number 5.
Hi, my name's Davey Jones. I'm driving Super Vee number 44 for Garvin Brown Racing. I'm from McGraw, New York.
My name is Didier Theys. I'm from Belgium.
I'm Ted Frappus. I'm driving the number 98 Skull Bandit, and I'm from Los Angeles, California.
Tommy Burns from Ireland, and the car number 28.
Well, that was the first 4 rows. Let's take a look now at the rest of the field, the additional qualifiers for this 37-lap, 62-mile race. A lot of rows. In fact, as you look on row 9, there's a familiar name to you anyway, George.
Yeah, that's my nephew driving for the Arciero Winery entry.
In car number 22 on the 15th row, that'll be the famous singer Christopher Cross. Boy, as we told you, this is a large field, a lot of cars.
Well, 39 cars are going to start this race, and that's a lot of cars for Long Beach. It's a very short track, 1.67 miles.
Most of the field still coming off of turn number 11. There is the starter in the left-hand side of your screen, and here comes the front row down, and it is not green. There will not be a start. And we held him a while, didn't he, George?
Yeah, he sure did. I don't know what he was looking for. It's certainly difficult to bring 39 cars down a street like this and make them all look that even.
Even more difficult now, we'll be putting the field back together to look at them and get them set up for a real green flag. Boy, they've shaped them right back up, though. The leaders, without the benefit of a pace car, are slowing up the pace and putting this field back in its sequence. As we look down now, we're in the turn 1 and 2 area with this field of 39 cars. In fact, we should take a better look at this whole racetrack itself. And to describe it for you, Mr. George Fulmer.
Long Beach Circuit consists of 11 turns and is 1.67 miles in length. The start-finish line is located on Shoreline Straightaway, which is 3/4 of a mile long. The cars reach a maximum speed of 145 miles per hour as they pass into the bridge and then brake hard for turn 1. This area is very wide and is good for passing. Turn 2 and 3 are a series of second-gear left and right-handers, which must be taken with precision. Between 4 and 5, you can grab third gear and make a quick pass if your exit speed is right. Turn 6 leads into the high garage where the surfaces change, and through the newly revised left-hander at turn 7. Then powering out of turn 8 and accelerating up through the gears and under the terraced overpass. This short chute is very wide and an excellent place for overtaking. The right-hand turn 9 and the fast-sweeping turn 10 leads the slowest but most important part of this course, the hairpin at turn 11. If you don't take this right, you'll pay the price at the end of a long shoreline straight. Then it's hard on the throttle and up through the gears for another tour of this most difficult Long Beach circuit.
Back with the high shot now as the field gets ready again to look at a possible green flag, this time with no pace car in front of them, and they look rather orderly, although the middle of the pack, they're kind of strangely running 3 abreast through the corners. The leaders, though, of this large field out onto the front straightaway looking at a potential green flag once again, and they look good from here. So right around there where they come to the start-finish line, the starter once again in your left-hand side of the screen, and George, no green once again. Have you been involved in circumstances like this with 2 false starts?
Well, unfortunately, I think I have, and it's very frustrating for the race drivers because they're all keyed up for a start, and then they get aborted. And I really don't know what that starter is looking for. I think the first go around was made a fine race start.
You'd have thrown the green flag twice already. Well, according to the Super Vee regulations, these laps are actually counting towards the 37-lap total. So if we do get a green flag finally this next time around, it'll actually be the start of the 3rd lap as far as their scoring efforts are concerned. But there's no lap money in this, and once again, no pace car back out on the track. If you're just joining us now, we're still trying to get underway with the Super Vees from Long Beach, and it's been a frustrating experience so far. As they complete this lap, we had a unique opportunity to sit in at the drivers' meeting held earlier today, where the competitors got their last-minute instructions as well as a review of the operating procedures from the chief steward, Roger E. Andy. This is especially important since it's the first race of the season and there are a number of new drivers in this event.
I don't want to be lulled into false security, but the qualifying this morning and the warm-up today was what I expect. We had good, clean operation, and cars went much faster, and we had a lot less carnage, and I think most of them are in good shape to start the race. We did have some body contacts and a little messy operation yesterday in the qualifying. 2 cars were penalized, car 24, car 6. Pay attention to one thing in the case of yellow flags. I'm not condoning passing on the yellow flag. We don't really tolerate that, but there are some rare cases when a pass under the yellow flag is unavoidable. Rather than doing something stupid, if you do pass under the yellow flag and have not endangered the workers, the reason that the flag is out, if you will just correct that mistake by slowing down and allowing that driver that you passed illegally to get back in front of you, it will go a lot less hard with you at the end of the race when I come to talk to you.
You know, there are always last-minute details that even the most experienced teams might forget, but which can be of major significance when it comes to race time.
We'll have 2 pace laps, and it's very embarrassing to have the leaders run out of fuel on the course. We're trying to do victory circle and all that sort of thing, and then we got to tow them in. It really looks tacky. So let's calculate the fuel right.
That's how the drivers' meeting went a little earlier today. Right now we are attempting to start them for the 3rd time. George, you've been involved in these kind of restart conditions, haven't you?
Yes, unfortunately, too many times. It's a very distracting thing for the driver because you get your adrenaline up for that first start, and then when it doesn't happen, you have to regroup yourself and get yourself all wound up again to make another start.
Well, here they come off of turn 11. Again, no pace car holding them back. They're setting their own pace, and we're looking for, and you get a green flag.
There it is.
We're racing now, and here comes one of the most exciting first corners in racing with the big field coming down. George, it's got to be tough here.
Well, this is a very tight corner, and all these cars bearing down on it, and the traffic is just tremendous. Everybody's dodging around, trying to make a hole.
Down into, and it looked as though it was Ross Cheever who went way down inside on the left-hand side of your screen, but as we move over a little bit further, Cheever is apparently now gone, and it is not Cheever leading it. What happened? There he is.
I think Cheever forgot that there was a right-hand corner at the end of that straightaway and just drove right off the end. A lot of contact in the back in the field on that first corner.
And look at this, as we've still got him stuck here. Number 35 getting ready to climb out of his car. That's Dan Thayer out of Buena Park. And also tangled up with him here is number 25, Joe Tabor. And those cars looked as though they weren't going to be easy to clear up.
As we're running down over the back, I see Andretti, number 84, is in the lead.
Pole sitter, number 43, Steve Bren, sits in the 2nd place spot right now. And car number 5, Mike Groff, is in 3rd. Groff was a gentleman who was co-rookie of the year last year in this division. And boy, he's going to be tough this particular season. At speed on the racetrack now. Here we come around to complete lap number 1, and we're getting reports now that there will be a yellow flag out. Apparently that incident has not been cleared up in turn number 2, and all of this frustration must be starting to mount inside of the helmet.
Well, of course, when the drivers come down that shoreline straight there and find that yellow flag, there they are waving it off, slowing down. Andretti's going to pack up the field. So we're going to have another restart. Probably the 4th start in basically 5 laps.
You think the starter's getting paid each time he throws the green. There's the pace car running about 11th place overall, trying to catch back up to the position it should be at the front. And the reason for the yellow, still sitting on the racetrack, awaiting tow trucks to move them off between turns 2 and 3. The pace car will be working its way back up through this group of traffic. We'll be working our way back to the streets of Long Beach for more racing excitement after this.
Playing Major League Baseball keeps me pretty busy. Even when I'm not in the action, I keep up with the action. That's why I read the sporting news. Nobody gets you into the game like the sporting news. The ins, the outs, who's hot at the plate, who's swinging like a rusty gate, who's breaking, who's aching, and which teams are shaking it up around the league. More baseball coverage than your local paper and all other sports weeklies and monthlies combined. I'm serious about sports, and that's why I read the sporting news. And here's how you can save some serious money when you sign on for a special half-price offer now.
You'll get 36 issues of the sporting news for one-half the regular subscription price. You'll also get the football and basketball preview issues at no extra cost. All for 3 easy installments of only $5.99. So call now, toll-free, 1-800-592-6000.
The sporting news, it's terrific.
July is spectacular on ESPN. Don't miss America's Olympics. 10 days of high-caliber competition with America's current and future Olympians. The U.S. Olympic Festival. You'll see the greatest names in golf live at the British Open and Women's U.S. Open. Plus, live tennis. The USA takes on Mexico in Davis Cup play and catch the finals of the U.S. Pro Championships. Every Wednesday night, ESPN delivers the thrills of unforgettable super bouts and live championship events from the PBA Summer Tour. July means IndyCar excitement from Ontario and Cleveland, plus Formula One Grand Prix from France, Britain, and Germany, thoroughbred horsepower at the Haskell Stakes, and full-throttle unlimited hydroplane danger. You'll enjoy profiles of the top America's Cup challengers and ESPN All-Star Salute live from Houston. July is spectacular on the U.S. Olympic Festival Network, ESPN.
It's the 12th annual Grand Prix of Long Beach. The Super Vee's on the streets right now, but under a yellow flag condition. And George Fulmer, we've been having trouble keeping it green, haven't we?
Well, we sure have. Now, I think the pace car is pulling off at this time, so we're going to have a restart with Andretti leading him down.
It's Andretti in front of it, Bren in second, Groff in third, and it is green flag once again on a single file restart and coming up through the gearbox on Shoreline Drive, one of the largest fields of Super Vees run anywhere in the United States.
Now they're racing down into turn 1. Uh-oh, here's 3 abreast.
And it looks like Groff takes over the lead.
Yes.
Bren stays in second, and Andretti ended up third. What a strange mix around
From
there.
first to third.
Boy, and little Andretti with his daddy watching from the sidelines has got to be worried about making a move like that. Groff in front of it now. Bren in the second place spot, and somehow Bren had him going by on both sides of him, but in opposite directions. Now maybe we'll get a chance to settle into the rhythm that this race requires.
Well, I think so. I think the fellas got their restarts taken care of now, so we can get down to some serious racing. And serious racing, that's what they're doing.
Out in front, the black car with the number 5 on it. That's Mike Groff. Behind him, number 43, Steve Bren. And behind them, Andretti. The white car in the 4th place spot is Didier Thays from Belgium.
And all running very close and very tight. Oh, there's a car sliding off the end of the grid.
I missed the number on it, but I think he's gone for the day as he found a definite lack of traction at the braking point.
Yes, he certainly locked the brakes up, and of course that meant going straight ahead.
Around we bring him once again as we finally get one lap in without any yellow flags or a need for another green one. And this time, as they come by, this lap goes into the books with number 84, Mike Groff, in front of it. Check that. Number 5, Mike Groff, in front of it. Then Bren in second, Andretti in third, Didier Thays in fourth, Jones in fifth. You're watching the leader.
He's certainly moving along very quickly, though. Look at that. Andretti get a little sideways going into that corner.
Andretti with Thays behind him. Thays in the only Martini chassis in this particular event, chasing the roll that is belonging to Andretti. And Thays has done a lot of driving in other forms of competition.
Yes, he has. He's done a lot of driving in Europe. A very nice fellow from Belgium, and he's showing a lot of promise here running this circuit.
Young Andretti, quite a charger. His father made sure that he went through, I think, just about every driving school in the United States.
Well, Andretti's Mario's brought the boys along very well, and they really had a lot of experience before they got into this professional level of racing.
Number 5, Groff in front, but we're watching now the battle that is shaping for third. That's Andretti. Behind him is Thays, and now joining that fray is Davy Jones, who was our winner here in the streets last year. Jones in the number 44, black car.
We certainly could have a change of positions right quick here, because this is very close racing.
Close racing. In some spots, this racetrack is a little narrow. It's tough to get by, an awfully equally matched machinery, isn't it?
Well, when you take these Volkswagen engines, they're all the same. They're all the same size, and the chassis are very similar. So it comes up to the ability of the driver to set his car up and get the most out of it.
Focusing on that third place race, it's still Andretti as they hit that braking point where most of the passes have occurred. Thays nearly was outbraked by Davy Jones. That's third, fourth, and fifth place on camera now and cooking around this racetrack.
And we've got to remember that Jones has got a lot of experience in Super V's. He ran a lot last year, and he's run a lot in Europe in Formula 3, I believe. So He's a very accomplished race driver, so he may be making the pass any time now.
Well, Davy Jones is one of those youngsters that has used the reputation-building portion of Super Vees just about to its maximum now. Don't you think he's going to get a big car ride?
Oh, I think he's due. He's showing a lot of promise in other cars, and of course in the Super Vee. And these drivers are looking for the next step up.
Number 5, Groff, the leader, with a little bit of tire smoke there. Is there an imbalance maybe developing?
Well, it could be that surface there at the end of that short chute there. Changes on him, and the front wheels are locking up a little bit.
That's Groff in front of it. Now Bren all over the back of him in the number 43 car.
Bren's really putting the pressure on.
The two of them have broken away, as you can see, through the long lens right there. They're using each other's air just a little bit down the straightaway. And here's the high shot. You can see that they're actually about 4 car lengths apart.
Yeah, Groff seems to have the speed down the straightaway, but as they close into the corners, Bren seems to close back up, and maybe he's going to make a pass at the end of the straightaway.
Groff checking his mirrors heavily there just before the breaking point at turn 1. We're going through turn 2 and into 3. And it is still Groff over Bren since that move was made on the restart. And a little bit looser in.
Yeah, it's got himself a little loose there, didn't he?
Now, the ground effects don't really come into play at the low speeds in this portion of the course, do they?
No, they don't. They have to have speed to make the cars get any downforce off their wings. So there it's just more of a mechanical advantage.
But once they get up to speed on portions of this race course, these vehicles have one of the most liberal ground effects rules in the business, don't they?
Well, they stick very well. And of course, down that shoreline straightaway where the speeds are reaching that 150-mile-an-hour range, they do have a lot of downforce.
Number 5, still a little loose in the corner as he's working his way around. Mike Groff, the man who was co-rookie of the year last year in this division. Behind him, young, good-looking kid, Steve Bren, who's going to be driving a lot of different series races this year. There's 3rd place, Andretti. The white car is 4th place, Stays. And that next black car there appearing for a moment in your picture was Davy Jones. Up onto the straightaway. Once again, they come looking at Jeff Andretti, the other of the Andretti brothers, as his brother a winner on this particular weekend in the Indy cars.
Certainly making a quick race of this. So the speeds are very high.
Definitely getting around. The tires warm and working as best they can right now. We focus again on Mike Groff. At 10 laps, Groff is the leader, Bren is 2nd, Andretti 3rd, Stays 4th, Jones 5th, and we'll be back in Long Beach.
Sunday, the world's top drivers take on one of Formula One's most difficult courses live on ESPN. It's the Canadian Grand Prix, and the Montreal circuit is filled with twists and turns that test man and machine to the limit. The Canadian Grand Prix, live Sunday on ESPN.
Super Vee racing from the streets of Long Beach. Number 5, your leader, Mike Groff, and he's been in charge of this thing for quite a while now, George Fulmer.
Yes, he has, but I think Steve Bren's closing up if he can get through the traffic.
That particular one is number 64, Jeff Wilson. Wilson motions to him to go on one side, and Bren has already committed to the other side on the straightaway.
Traffic is really a major factor here at Long Beach, and Steve Bren is going to have to do a lot of catching up because he lost a lot of space on that on getting around Jeff Wilson.
There you're looking at the 2nd place car, Bren, as he brakes for turn 1 once again. Bren, a tough competitor on this circuit, and he dropping off a little bit from the pacing that is being set by Mike Groff, but he's got to stay in touch with him, doesn't he?
Yes, he can't let him get away because they're going to run into more traffic, and if Steve's having trouble getting through traffic, it's going to tell at the end of the race.
Watching Mike Groff as he goes underneath the bridge, and there's the differential now as Bren is in that 2nd place spot. The two of them have broken away from 3rd place. A high shot of Groff right there as he goes on to the short chute area. He's been having trouble in some of the traffic portions, and he's catching one of these slower cars right now. That is number 24, and if I'm not mistaken, 24 is Jim Ward. We saw him earlier in the show.
Yes, we saw Jim making an exit from his car from the unusual position upside down, but the car was repaired overnight, and it's back running here today.
Out onto the front straightaway. Ward got a good look in his mirrors right there as he sees Groff is accelerating, trying to give the leader room to come by. Now, they tell them about this. There's blue flags coming out, right, to signify?
Yes, the course walkers are put out blue flags, and of course the drivers usually try to point as a courtesy when they're being lapped. But sometimes the passing driver's already made a commitment and already made up his mind which side he's going to go on, and is passed before the fella gets a chance to signal.
Watching now a couple of the cars that are actually in the back of the pack as the back of the pack beginning to merge with the leaders right now. these particular cars are about to go down a lap to the leader. We could identify them all, but right now there is your leader coming behind them as we go under the bridge area. And Groff has got to use his head through here, because if he gets just touching with an open-wheel car, can hurt your day badly.
He has to make all these passes very clean, and of course he can't linger because, you know, he's got competition coming up right behind him.
Groff on the left of your screen right there at the braking point for the turn off of the short chute.
He's able to pass one car. Now he's got two more to get through and get another clean shot at the track.
Groff using that traffic so far intelligently. You can see how the blue flags are displayed right there by the corner worker inside of the wall. And watch for him to appear there on the left. He makes the big move, and Groff, after he uses a little bit of air, apparently picks up momentum out onto the chute.
Yes, he did. He slipstreamed a little bit there, and then now he's on his own, and he's going on past. Obviously, his car is considerably faster than the slower cars he's lapping.
One of the cars he's lapping is Tom Contino out of Phelan, California, and he uses his head intelligently and uses as little of the racetrack as possible because the second-place car barging right through there, Bren
got by real clean on that. Of course, Cortina gave him a little bit of racing room, which was a very nice courtesy thing to do.
Well, you've got to be courteous or somebody's going to help you on into the wall.
Yeah, and it usually ends up both of you.
Yeah, and that wall is unforgiving, especially at this point in this particular event, as we now look at the third-place driver, Andretti. Andretti's trying to stay in touch with them all. And it's an interesting way to look at these race cars. We had a chance earlier. George took and compared a Volkswagen GTI street machine with the race cars that you're seeing on the track right now.
I'm here in the garage area of the Long Beach Grand Prix with Mike Whiteout, crew chief for the R0 Racing. Mark, can you tell us a little bit about the Volkswagen we have here, the Super Vee and the Volkswagen GTI?
Sure can. Let's start with the engine. The engine is a 1600cc stock block Volkswagen unit, electronically fuel injected, and that's what we run in the Super Vee.
Very good. What other components do they have on the that come from the production card?
Well, we use all the Bosch electrics, the spark plug, the coil. We use the gearbox, brakes, rotors, CV joints, half shaft, differential.
Let's step over to the race car. Maybe a little bit easier for the folks to see that. All right, Mark, show us on the race car here now all these components that are production.
Sure. This here is the stock block Volkswagen, a cylinder head with a single overhead cam, just like in the GTI. This here is the electronic fuel injection unit, like the GTI. Then the other pieces that we have, here in the rear, we have the Volkswagen casing that houses the gearbox. Internally, we have the Volkswagen differential. We run the Volkswagen CV joints. We run the Volkswagen half shafts. And we also run the Volkswagen brakes and rotors.
Okay, Mark, tell me, how much does this car weigh?
This car weighs 960 pounds.
And the horsepower for this racing engine?
Right at 200 horsepower.
And what kind of speeds will they run here at Long Beach?
At Long Beach here, we'll see 145 miles an hour.
I think we're in for a very exciting race here at Long Beach with the Super Vees and Volkswagen.
145 miles an hour. That's just a ways down the racetrack from where you're looking right now as they come up through that gearbox. Top shot of them, and this is where they really start cooking, isn't it?
Well, down this long straightaway, they get a chance to put all the horsepower on the ground, and that 145 mile an hour is a very fast speed for a car of this size.
Number 30 is Didier Thays, the driver from Belgium, still sitting in the top 5, and right behind him is Davy Jones. They're having the one-on-one battle for 4th place right now.
Certainly they've had a tight race right from the start. They've been nose to tail all the way, and I'm sure Davy Jones would like to get by, but he hasn't been able to do it at this point.
Both of these drivers, in case you're just tuning in, are experienced drivers who've scored points in several different racing series all over the world. But right now, it looks like they're having a one-on-one go through the streets of Long Beach that is taking precedence almost over the leaders. The leaders have spread out a little bit, and this is the best race on the track at the moment.
Well, they certainly are racing close and doing a beautiful job of it. They're giving each other the room, and they're trying to make the passes, but it's very difficult.
Difficult, hard drive right now, and a concentration level required of each of the competitors to keep it between the walls and keep it off of the slower cars. Jones trying to set him up there with an inside move on the corner, but it looks as though he gave away distance. It looks as though Thays' car will come off the corner with anybody today. 18 laps in. Groff leads it. Bren is second. Andretti third. Thays fourth. Jones fifth, and we're coming back.
You know, a big wheeler dealer like me has to keep up on the action. The players, who's hot, Who's not? And what's a better deal than picking up a copy of Sports Illustrated? You see, Sports Illustrated...
Excuse me, sir, but I got a better deal.
Yeah, kid, right. I'll handle this. You see, Sports Illustrated gives me more than just stats and scores. I get the feeling of what it's like to hit a brick wall at 30 miles an hour. How it feels to look down the barrel of a loaded gun. To lose a tough one. And how it feels to win it all. That's what Sports Illustrated gives me.
Well, Sports Illustrated gave me this NFL Follies video cassette. Free with my paid subscription. It's 44 minutes of fumbles, foolery, and follies. It makes a great gift, and it's free.
Free? Come on, kid. This is America. Nobody gives you something for nothing.
Okay, free for subscribing to Sports Illustrated.
Aha!
Ah, but that's just the half of it. I get Sports Illustrated for less than one-half your newsstand price. 27 action-packed weeks of football, baseball, basketball, and more delivered right to your door for 3 installments of just $9.79 each. That's more than 50% off. Subscribe now and you get the College and Pro Football Spectacular. Plus, you get this handy NFL schedule free, and you get the famous swimsuit issue uncovering what truly is man's favorite spectator sport. Phones are open now. Just call this toll-free number and you get the whole deal. You can even use your credit card.
Okay, let's get this straight. They get a 50% savings. The schedule, the football spectacular, the swimsuit issue, and the free NFL tape. Now, see, kid? That's a great deal.
Gee, sir, you're right.
Yeah.
Get the savings, get the special issues, get the NFL schedule, get the video cassette.
Oh, Sports Illustrated? I want to renegotiate.
Sports Illustrated. Get the feeling.
ESPN viewers, call now. 1-800-541-9000.
We're in the streets of Long Beach for the Super Vee event. My name's Bruce Flanders. Along with George Fulmer, we're calling the action for you, and it has been some wild racing up until now. But looking from high up above, you can see the Goodyear airship Columbia, based out of Carson, California. The pilot today is Dick Esch. And do you know that Goodyear has built over 300 helium-filled airships since 1925? And we're glad that Columbia could be here with us today. Boy, some great shots from up above. Meanwhile, down on the racetrack, there's some serious activity going on. And number 5, Mike Groff is your leader. Right behind him is number 43, Steve Brent. And George Fulmer, they've been going at each other hammer and tong.
Yes, they have. Since that restart, they've been after each other. We're getting about midway in this race now, so they're going to have to start making their decisions on when they're going to pass.
That's number 43, your second-place driver, Bren. And Bren has been hunting him like a junkyard dog up until this point, and they're in traffic again. Groff is being caught up in a little bit of traffic. Bren sees the opportunity and continues as smooth as he can to try and close up a little ground. Well, the other driver moved nicely out of their way.
Yeah, that was a little help there for Steve, because he's going to need it to get around Groff, because they're both running very well, and it seems when they get in traffic, that's when they get separated. When they get together like that, they just run nose to tail.
At this point in the event, several times already, we have seen tire smoke come off of number 5, Groff's car. Do you think that might have a factor in the way he's driving?
I think so. Groff's car seems to have a lot of problems. There we see it going into that corner there with the left front wheel smoking. So I think he does have a little bit of brake problem. His car looks very twitchy under braking.
He's got to be seeing his own tire smoke. Is he asking himself questions about that?
Well, I think he's starting to feel it in the steering wheel, because after a while those tires are going to get flat spotted and it's going to start to vibrate. And, it's just a distraction that he's going to have to overcome, because he certainly hasn't got any time to think about it too long with Steve on his tail.
When they come off of that corner at turn 11, the number 5 car of Groff gets off the corner well. And then Bren tends to close back up on him around mid-course or mid-straightaway. Down into turns 1 and 2 again and again. They will be coming up on slower cars. Now, some of these cars are driven by drivers with a lot less experience. There's a lot of driver capability differential, right?
Yes, there is. Of course, we noticed in the drivers' meeting where it was brought out that there's a vast variety of capabilities. We have drivers with many years' experience, and we have some who are driving on Long Beach for the first time.
Well, we're seeing a race right now as the best race on the track is between first and second place, caught up a little bit behind traffic. Number 5, Groff, your leader. Number 43, Bren in second, and they're closer now than they've ever been. They're on the short chute together, and they're wrapped up in traffic in a big way as they're hitting a braking point right now. Groff dodges over. Bren goes even further inside. Outbrakes him at the corner, and number 43, Bren, has taken over the lead. George, that was a bold and brave move.
Well, not only bold, but it was a beautiful move. he used the traffic to his biggest advantage, and that made the pass. And we've been saying this all through the race, that the traffic is a key factor at Long Beach.
And once again it is, as they hit that main straightaway, and now with a new leader, number 43, Steve Bren out of Los Angeles, being chased by Northridge, California's Mike Groff. And the two of them about 3 car lengths apart. Will the move be made back? We're going to watch it in turn number 1 as Groff tries to go inside on Bren. No, Bren closes the door on him a little early and took away the good line.
I think one of the problems we saw there with Groff's car is probably that brake that we talked about earlier. He doesn't seem to have the brakes that he should have to make a pass like that.
That could be scary on a racetrack like this. The concrete walls are very unforgiving if your brakes aren't right.
Yes, and then we want to remark again that when you change from asphalt to cement and back to asphalt, the car is going to do different things also. So they have several factors to dial into that pass.
The surface here changes about 12 different times. Most of these particular streets are used during the regular rest of the year a lot by different traffic. And as you can see, a couple of bumps have developed right along in this particular portion of the track. And there's somebody with a broken wing about to... Whoa, more tire smoke, too, off of our second-place car.
Yes, he certainly does have a little bit of a problem there, but I think he's doing an excellent job of staying in there and trying to be competitive through this race.
Bren in front as they move out on to the big straightaway. Groff in the second-place spot. And we have gotten word from the truck that we've got a replay of that pass itself. So let's set it up for you. Take a look at the move that we call bold and brave right now.
Here it is again with Groff coming down. He takes the inside, but then Bren takes the inside further and takes the line away from him and going into the corner. Gets to the right-hand corner, he takes the line. There it is, a clean pass.
So Bren is now our new leader. That puts Groff in the second-place spot. Andretti third. Thays is fourth. And moving into the top 5 for the first time is Dennis Vitolo. And we're coming back to Long Beach.
When the big Q flows, America goes.
You there, Mr. Bailey, that's selling the car?
You buying?
Depends. How's it run?
Great. Always on Quaker State.
That's good.
Quaker State means performance. You can depend on quality.
I've heard that.
One-of-a-kind formula. Stable viscosity. Keeps flowing. Protecting.
You sold me.
The car?
And the oil.
Quaker State. The big Q stands for quality. Always has, always will.
In the streets of Long Beach, 26 laps have been done of the 37 that we are going. Out in front of it is number 43, Bren. Number 5, Mike Groff, desperately trying to maintain contact. He's about 3.5 seconds back at this point, and that seems like a long ways, George Fulmer.
Yes, it is, but that 3.5 seconds can change real quick if they get into traffic.
Especially with the way they've been using up their tires. It seems like there's been more tire smoke today than I've seen at any race in a long time.
Well, I think the Goodyear tires are holding up reasonably well for them. The smoke we're seeing most of the time, I think, is under braking, where the fellows are having to brake so hard for these difficult corners at Long Beach.
Second place car on your left, Mike Groff, smoked off of his tires once again. Now, he's been the biggest sinner as far as tire smoke. Can his tires take this kind of abuse?
Well, I think we're probably, if we check those tires, we'd find them to have a lot of flat spots on them, but he's still staying in the race, and he's still running competitive speed, so they can't be bothering him too much.
Well, competitive speed's good call. In fact, the lap time on their last time around was quick enough to have qualified in the top 4 positions on the grid, so the times haven't been hurt at all. When these cars get a little lighter, a little bit of the fuel goes away, they'll run even quicker, won't they?
Yes, they'll pick up a little speed from the fuel load reducing, but they've been running very competitive all day and very hard, so these tires have gotten used, and the gearboxes, of course, at Long Beach get to use it awfully hard.
We're watching the white car. That's number 30, Didier Thays. He sits fourth, but he is closing in rapidly, according to the stopwatches, on number 84, Jeff Andretti. There's Andretti and Thays in the picture together.
Yeah, I think Andretti's probably been dogging a little bit there. At least Thays is closed up awfully quick, so maybe there's something wrong with Andretti's car. We'll have to check that out.
Who's that in the wall?
I think that wasn't in the plan. That looks like my nephew. I don't know how he ended up there, but certainly an embarrassing position.
Mike Fulmer, a little embarrassment, but at least he found a soft spot to park his car. Back to the race itself, as you're looking at third place, number 84, Jeff Andretti, and the white car with nobody in between them. That's Thays, the Belgium driver, who is going so well at the moment.
I think Thays is putting the charge on right now. He knows there's a position for him there. I'm sure his pit crew told him, pass Andretti, you pick up a position, and he's certainly making a push. And with the traffic coming on, anything can happen.
Definitely trying to happen out there right now. Another good shot of Andretti pushing the car quite hard at the moment, trying to stay in a victory circle position. And that seems the norm for the racing drivers that come out of Nazareth, Pennsylvania. Young Jeff Andretti going quite well at the moment.
Well, Jeff Andretti is running very well, and of course he's run the entire circuit in 1985, and he won at Cleveland and in Phoenix on the oval, so placing 5th overall in the standings. So he's definitely a charger.
Charging around the racetrack right now in the 3rd place spot. There's also an interesting story further back. The driver of car number 22 that you're looking at is battling hard for a good finish. We had a chance to talk to him. It's Christopher Cross. He's the winner of a Grammy. He's got gold records all over his walls, but right now he's racing hard. We talked about his racing ambitions, and we took a quick look at his video release.
I think music's always been a singular passion in my life until 1983 when I got involved in racing, and now it's the other one. So I've got 2 now, music and the racing. At 34 years old and just starting, I think I'm pretty average ability. I don't think I can become an Ayrton Senna within my lifetime. So it's, you know, it's going to be a slow process, but I think I'm going to stick with it and try to take it as far as I can. But it's just fun.
Have the other drivers accepted you as a racer?
Yeah, I find I have a real good rapport with the racers, and the main reason is when I started racing, I came up to everybody and said hi, you know, and I'm just starting out, I need to learn and blah, 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 as opposed to going, hey, man, you know, I'm a star, get away from me. And now I have a good rapport. They know I'm learning, and I don't think I'm the fastest just because I've done well in something else, and we get along real fine. Well, my goal in racing, you know, I think I'd like to run Super Vee, and I guess someday it's a nice dream to think about Indy cars. But as I said, in the music business, I got where I was, I think, by dreaming, and that's the best way.
The scoring charts now show that we've completed 33 of the 37 laps, and we're coming back for the Super Vee checkered flag after this.
Find out what it's like to drive on the NASCAR circuit. Darrell Waltrip explains his secrets to success. Saturday at noon Eastern on ESPN.
When they cross the stripe this time in the streets of Long Beach, there'll be 2 laps left in the Super Vee race. And that is your leader, number 43, Steve Brenn, and he's giving traffic a wide berth right there, George.
Well, he's getting down to the end, and of course he wants to make sure that he doesn't get tangled up with anybody. He knows the victory is very close.
Less than 2 laps now as he's out onto that main straightaway one more time. And they proverbially talk about how this is where you hear the engine going sour or things starting to break.
You hear everything about at the last of the race, in the last few laps. You think that whole car is going to fall apart right underneath you.
That's Brenn on the brakes in turn 1, going to 2 and trying to stay off of traffic once again as he's now passing back markers in a wholesale fashion. Brenn using every inch of the racetrack and very intelligently keeping himself trouble-free at this moment. Behind him is number 5, Mike Groff. Groff, who's had a braking imbalance of late, is suddenly, according to the stopwatches, closing in a last-ditch effort there. The number 5 car has got a sight line on the leader, but he's got a lot of work cut out for him.
Well, if he doesn't get any traffic, maybe he can close it up, but Steve's running so clean and so smooth that he's going to be hard to pass.
About a half a lap ago, it was a 2.5-second advantage. Now it's down to 2 seconds. And number 5, Mike Groff, closing in on Steve Brenn, but his time is running out rapidly.
Mike's got to make his pitch right away because he's got a little over 1 lap to go. But he's certainly making a charge at it, and it's been an interesting race all afternoon. There's that brake smoke again, and that left front wheel. Oops. He seemed to have a stalling problem there coming on the straightaway. Looks like he might have missed a shift.
And if you miss a shift coming off of turn 11, it pays you back at the far end of the chute.
Well, it's a bad place to make a mistake, particularly on the last lap, but it will affect his straightaway speed probably by 10 to 15 mile an hour. So he's going to have an awful lot of catching up to do around the rest of the racetrack.
He is a good young driver. He had a heck of a season this last year.
Had an excellent season last year. He won 2 races. He won Mid-Ohio and St. Air, and he finished 3rd in the standings in the series. So he's done very well, and he's done well here today. So I think he has nothing to be ashamed of, and I'm sure see him in the winner's circle in 1986.
A strong drive right now by the second-place car, number 5, Mike Groff. He's chasing after Steve Brenn, who's leading it, but here is the battle for the 4th-place spot. Number 30, Didier Thays, holding off a man who just made it into the top 5 a while ago, number 75, Dennis Vitolo. And Dennis Vitolo is all over Thays. Thays sitting in the 4th-place spot, chasing that man right there, sitting 3rd, number 84, young Jeff Andretti. And Andretti, he's going after the 2nd-place car, but he's almost lost touch with Mike Groff in the number 5 car. Groff had a braking problem all day long and still has that braking problem as he's getting ready to come home to the checkered flag. You're at turn 11. That is the leader, number 43, Steve Brent, headed the last time out onto the chute, and he's looking for the checkered flag, and it probably seems still a long ways away. We're now at the victory stand. Checkered flag awaits him, and here comes number 43, Brent, to win the Super Vee and wave at the crowd. Now that, I think, is Groff, the 2nd-place car. Back a ways, and I think this is traffic. These cars are not on the same lead lap. We're looking for the differential back to 3rd place now. 3rd is going to be Andretti, and that is still not Andretti. So there was a big spread back to 3rd place. Here comes Andretti now in the number 84 car, and just behind him a ways, Thays gets the 4th place spot, and Vitolo crosses the line in 5th, and it's cool down time now, George.